you know what? I just realized I don't think I was streaming just now. Hey, good to see you all. I had the whole pre-show thing set up and it was actually playing, and I thought it was, and then I rushed away to go do my pre-show tidy up and shower, and now I just realized it probably wasn't on. I'm sorry about that. It was here, it was playing, it was awesome. But there you go, boom. We are live. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late tonight. That is Pikachu in the closet. It's good to see you. I was away last week. Just back from Golden Week, lots of tidying up and all of that sort of stuff. I hope you're all well. Good to see you. Bald Bill, it's boy. Davo Hunter, Lysander 45, Mr. Cordy Chip, Sergeant Bilko, good to see you all. Oh, sorry. I was playing the music. I was actually doing it all right, but sorry, I didn't set it off. Well, there we go. Kimmy Kim, good to see you. Boom, indeed, we are here. Got a few topics. It hasn't been a very big news sort of a week. Of course, I can talk about anything that you guys want me to talk about, so you can always raise things in the comments. And otherwise, I'm just going to go through. And you know what? If time's left over, I might even make a tune or something like that. But we'll see how we go. So first of all, so what's going on in terms of general news? There's not a lot going on. I haven't made much progress actually with my Chan TV. Again, with the holiday break and so on, I'm going to go. Although there was another site I just saw yesterday, being promoted on was it Lifehacker or something like that, which is another idea basically that my idea is a better solution for. So yes, we're knocking out the bugs and making small improvements to that. Still moving it along, but yeah. Hey, Tim the Asian Ink, speaking of which, he's my main super user right there. Tim the Asian Ink, good to see you indeed. Also for people, one bit of a news thing for people who are in Seattle, I will be in Seattle. In fact, when will it be? I think it will be in the second week of June. So about 3 weeks from now, I will be making another trip to America. I'm not taking any detours. I'm going straight to Seattle because last time I went through Los Angeles, they lost my suitcase. But yes, I'm looking forward very much to being back in America. And let me just very quickly check something. That's okay there. The sound capture is okay. So yes, if you're in Seattle area, you know, I'll announce closer to the thing, but not sure actually. It is all for work and there is stuff on pretty much every night, and I'm sort of arriving on Monday and going on Friday, but there may be a chance one of the evenings anyway to meet up if there are people in town for that. But otherwise, yeah, not a lot going on. I hope you guys are all well. I'm good. So what do we got here? We have Team Lab. Now, I don't know if you guys know Team Lab, but Team Lab is, I've actually interviewed, I think I did it on my beta channel, but I actually interviewed from a context of using Creative Commons. Hey, Silvana Tavana, good to have you along. First time you've ever made it to a live. Well, it's great to have you here at a live, and you're about to get a full taste of the show. And this is the thing, you can ask me questions, you can do whatever you like. And you can talk with all the people in the chat and just ignore me, just let me talk. Apparently I help people get to sleep. It has all sorts of things going on there. I got the button feature, the like button feature working. I think I did anyway. In fact, you know what? Now I am curious. I haven't checked that actually. I saw you commented on that, Tim the Asian Ink, but yes. Oh, in fact, did he get that working? I asked for that as a suggestion. You mean you can like videos from within my chat now? As I asked for it, that was on my list. Is that what you're talking about, Tim the Asian Ink? If that's the case, that is super awesome. Is that what you mean? Now I'm super curious, and that's right, there's a 30-second lag, which means it's like talking to Mars basically. It's gonna take a minute to get a response from Tim the Asian Ink, and I'm super curious about that. I mean, I've got to probably go back and have a look at that. But anyway, so Silvana Tavana, that's another thing, my app. Oh shite! Wow, he got that working. Oh crap! I just got a text from him yesterday, and honestly, I haven't had time to focus on anything like that, so I've just been like, oh, okay, I'm going to go have a play with that myself. See, this is it. My Chan TV. Oh, I'm pointing at my rubbish bin. You should look over there. There. My Chan TV, that thing. That is the actual URL, and it's the name of the site. I made it. It's awesome. Go check it out. The dev guy gave a bunch of bug fixes and requests to, and it sounds like he came through on one of them where you can actually, for those of you who don't know what it is, you can connect all of your subscriptions to this basically logical sort of program that I made that runs within a web page, and you can convert your YouTube subscriptions into a always fresh playing TV channel of YouTube. Plus you can like videos now from within the app, so that is pretty awesome. I will have a better look at that. Yes, so anyway, coming back, Team Lab. So Team Lab, I actually interviewed the founder of the guy. He's kind of a famous, like, very creative guy. And what they do is they do basically technology-based art. But they do it like in really, really cool ways. Like, you know, basically like they do huge art exhibitions with like projectors everywhere that like kids can run around and you can actually like interact with all the projected images and stuff like that. They're actually going to be cooperating with the Olympics and so on. There's going to be a lot of things involving this. It's really, really cool. They do all sorts of things. They used to actually run a site, a Creative Commons music site in Japan, which I used to use and recommend to people that they hosted. And I interviewed the founder about that. I'm trying to remember his name actually, but he's a really, really cool guy. They've never had a permanent place. They've had an office that I've actually been and visited them in, but they've never had a permanent art museum, but they've been doing such cool exhibitions everywhere. Now they have a permanent digital art museum opening up. Where is it going to be? By the way, Spoon and Tamago, the blog that I'm taking this from, is one of the best blogs about, or in Japan, and certainly about Tokyo, within Tokyo. And they feature sort of creative and design-oriented sort of stuff. Did I see that was going to be in the Miraikan? But this sort of thing is exactly what they do. It's really cool. I mean, forget about, not just for kids or anything like that. You go in, it's just super, super cool. And the environments are totally interactive and stuff. It's real future crap. And it's super, super cool. And they do this like VR, AR, but you don't wear headsets, right? It's all totally like intuitive and high tech and stuff like that. And it's going to be a collaboration with Mori Building. Where is it going to be? Well, that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that particular demonstration. It's going to be in the Mori Digital Art Museum in Odaiba. Okay, so Odaiba. Well, that's another cool reason to go to Odaiba. When's it going to be open? Geez, this would be super cool actually. June 21. Man, I want to go to that. General admission 3,200 yen. I'd say it's worth it. This is like I've been to a number of their things. Plus, I've interviewed the people with it. It's really, really cool. So Team Lab, they're one of the very awesome things in Japan, and just in the technology sort of art scene. Going back, real life Mario Kart. So I'm actually looking. I've got like a work thing where people are coming to Tokyo in a couple of months, and I asked, would people like to do this? And I asked that because I want to do this myself. I mean, given the number of accidents and people getting run over and property being destroyed and people realizing this is essentially a loophole that nobody thought about, that, you know, they let people ride these carts on major roads, and you can actually drive these over Tokyo Bay Bridge and do all sorts of crazy stuff dressed as Mario without a helmet on. Clearly dangerous and should be illegal, and probably something's going to happen to that, but so long as it is legal, I do want to do it. So I'm hoping I can get into it. So it's just perfect timing from Tokyo Cheapo, another awesome blog that you should follow, run by some awesome people, including a Kiwi guy. Great tips actually, not just for Tokyo, but sometimes around Tokyo as well. But yes, you basically get to dress up as Nintendo or anime characters, and you drive around. And apparently, I didn't know this actually, there's a number of courses. The Mari Car, you get to go, where are they? There's two types of tickets. Discount tickets, well, we can worry about that. Shop and tour. So the Shinagawa course, there are 3 courses. Shibuya, one that goes through Roppongi to Shibuya Crossing, so you get to do basically like Tokyo Drift, except dressed as Mario on a quad. Another course, SL course, where you go over Rainbow. The SM course, by the way, they should really think about the naming of that. The SL course, where you get to go over Rainbow Bridge, Odaiba, Tokyo Tower, Roppongi, and Shibuya Crossing. Oh man, and that would be 12. So I think that's the one that I want to do, but that's quite a lot of money. But still, without discounts, that's $120 and $90 for the regular one. But still, I would really like to do that. And Flargin Yargin, totally agree with you there. I have seen it as well. First time I saw it, I was like, whoa, that is super cool. All right, you can also do an Akihabara course option, which is the A1M, where you go through Tokyo Station, Ginza, Ueno, Asakusa, Tokyo Skytree, and heading back. That's 9,000. That's okay. I'd still probably definitely feature. I'm definitely a Roppongi, Shibuya, Tokyo Bay Bridge person, but still, you know, the old Shitamachi tour there. You got Ueno, Ginza, Tokyo Station, and Skytree. Go a little bit longer, spend a little bit more dosh. You go over Rainbow Bridge and Tokyo Tower and Ginza, so more that sort of Ginza side rather than the Shibuya side, but that's pretty cool. And going around Tokyo Tower, that's pretty good. That's a bit of, just thinking of Cars, the Cars short stories, they do a bit of a thing like that, a race that goes up Tokyo Tower. It's kind of cool. And course number 3 is a boat cruise in Tokyo Bay. Okay, well, that's kind of cool, but it's getting a little bit crazy. So anyway, they got all sorts of stuff. Mr. Korichep, you'll refuse. They'll make you pay for the food. Okay, well I guess yes, you will probably have to pay for the food, Mr. Korichep. That's just the way things are. So that's pretty cool. This is not Japan related, although, so kind of think about this. So remember our species, Homo sapiens. We have been around for approximately, well, from what we can figure, I understand, our ancestors, they can find human-like fossils, what, about 10 million years? But in terms of identifiable, like our monkey, basically, about something between 300 to 600,000 years. Left Africa only 60,000 years ago, where we went into Europe, where there were already Neanderthals. There were already other species of human that had gotten up there first, and apparently there was about a 20,000 year period of coexistence, where, for the various reasons, we have children. We have a shorter cycle where we can have children, and for whatever reasons, we were able to sort of replace them, and we spread slowly across, of course, India and Australia and all that sort of thing, and we came up into Asia again about, as I understand, between 60. I mean, we got to Australia 50,000 years ago, but that was one sort of isolated group that weren't there. But humans really didn't get into the Philippines and Java and so on. They got in there pretty early, about 30,000 years ago. You think about this, what we consider to be civilization, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, this is all, basically 5 to 10,000 years ago. So this idea that they've found humans, and when they say humans, they mean a species like us, but clearly couldn't be us, was in the Philippines hunting rhinos and cutting them up like 700,000 years ago is kind of insane. In fact, honestly, I think it's got to be wrong. But I think this is just super cool. I think this is really, really interesting just from my perspective as well. I've been toying up with the idea after hearing that the Golden State Murderer was arrested based on someone doing a genetic test, and they found basically a cousin of the guy. I've always thought that would be something I'd like to do. Not murder people, but actually do that test. I toyed with it for a long time, and it is really, really interesting if you think about it. I mean, human history, like as a species, genetically, was super short. I mean, we only have 5 to 10,000 years of anything like what we consider to be civilization, and and you think about how many. I mean, for me, because I had old, second marriage relatives, only 2 generations to a century for a couple of centuries for me, on some of the lines. So you think about it that way. I mean, that's the biggest stretch, taking 50-year generations. But you're only talking like a couple of hundred generations to where our entire species was in Africa. No one was outside of Africa. Which also, when you think about it that way, which points out, just makes it how ridiculous ideas of race and so on are. I mean, race is a recent thing, and it came a long time after us leaving. I mean, it was only very recent that we were all Africans. But this predates all of that by like such a long way. It's kind of crazy. We know that there were other species in Indonesia, and we found them, right? They were like little people, the Florence, whatever they called them, humans or whatever. But yeah, I think that's really, really, really cool. Anyway, personally, and let me just realign the chat. I see that's cutting off some of the comments there. Derek Armstrong, you've been watching Discovery Channel too much. And whatever happened to Discovery Channel, by the way? Because I mean, when it started, the thing, when I was a kid and we only had one channel on TV in New Zealand, we were just forced to watch documentaries over and over. And New Zealand's got lots of nature, so we just watch lots of animals and stuff like that, or travel, and it's very boring, but it made us all quite well educated, and I really actually enjoyed the documentaries. And they made really good documentaries in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And you had the Discovery Channel. I thought, great, you've just got a place which can just be like TV when I was a kid that just plays documentaries all the time. And somewhere along the line they just lost motivation to show all the awesome documentaries that are out there, and they just got crazy here in there saying that we descended from aliens, which is kind of fun for like a 30-minute special once, but he's had like a 6 season series. It's a little bit too much. But anyway, there were 700,000 years ago, there were people in the Philippines, and if they were in the Philippines, I mean, it's just a hop skip to Japan, which isn't to say that people are here all the time, but we do know that people tried coming into Japan at different times because it was linked to the Asian mainland for a long time, so people could just walk in and out. They came into Japan and they starved to death, just making it Japan relevant. There are a number of failed attempts at settling in Japan. Japan just wasn't really good for food. Apparently during the Ice Age there were people chasing game. There were actually large animals and mammoths and stuff in Japan. People could walk in and walk out, but whenever anyone tried to settle here, they couldn't get anything to grow, and they all starved to death. And it wasn't really until about 2,000 years ago that people actually, in fact, maybe a bit more, the Yayoi and Jomon and those guys, they did a little bit of a better job at it. But basically, Japan's been inhabited on and off, but not really consistently, except for the last few thousand years. But yeah. Reality shows just kill me. I mean, how is Discovery Channel and History Channel got so many car conversion shows? It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't. There's so much cool, interesting stuff in the world, and yes, I think reality TV has a lot to answer for, but at the same time I'm hoping that it will make this genre of the internet actually take over and make everything better, because now I watch stuff on Netflix and I don't watch that crap anymore, although I know a lot of people do. That's Pikachu. I was at Ikebukuro Sunshine City. There's a huge Pokemon store there, which my son wanted to go check because the Pokemon playing cards, they're taking over the world at the moment. He's super into them, and we went to go see Pikachu, and Pikachu was actually hiding at that time. He was trying to be discreet. I actually, the photo I snapped late, watching the people trying to shove Pikachu into this room was actually more funny. But there you go. History Channel is also producing Vikings. Well, they should stop doing that. The Vikings haven't been around for hundreds of years and no one wants them back. I don't care what kind of a lab they have or where they found the DNA. They should just, I think they should leave history to history. They shouldn't bring back or start producing Vikings. Who knows how they'd even do that, seriously? Like, they need donors for that? I know, I'm joking. Sorry. Okay, I made a track. I actually made so I took the hyperlapse of going on the monorail at the Haneda Airport, which is actually just a super cool ride, and I realized I'd never taken it before, so I sat on the front of the train. And then I got this really, really cool app called, what's it called? I can tell you what it's called. It's up here, it's in photography, boom, boom, boom. Neon camera. It's super cool, but it could only take photos, so I was thinking it would be really cool to make that into a video. I was trying to figure out how to do that, but then the app got upgraded to how it works with video. So I took the video mode, playing the original video on my computer monitor, and then using the Neon app, which makes everything look kind of like Tron, and it's super, super cool. And I recorded that by hand off my monitor, and I made that part of the hyperlapse video that I put as the music video for the track Round the World, which was the track that I made on the show the other week, which was actually kind of cool. So I made it and I uploaded it onto SoundCloud, and it's pretty good. You should download it, and you can use it for free, of course, with all your videos. It's got Creative Commons license on it, so you can go crazy with it, which you should do. It's a good track and it's a good video. Please check it out. I hope you like it. What else we got in here? We have I just see some names coming on. We have the Viking series. Maybe I should watch it. I've got Viking. Well, I think I'm going to find out with 23andMe if I have real Viking in me or not. But I think on my matrilineal line, it's all York, you know, given between the way I look and the fact that my mum's side and most of my dad's side as well is actually all from the part of England that was like taken over and run by Vikings for like 1,000 years. I think it makes sense that I've probably got some of that, but I don't know. I just don't feel very interested in it. I don't know. Yes, we got Quinn Rankin. Good to see you. Want to go Viking? Cool. That's right. Go berserk. Although the key about the berserkers is they have to save it up and only go berserk at the right moment. Eric the Viking. That's a good movie. Forget about Vikings. Watch Eric the Viking. Shows you everything you need to know. Lysander 45. Maybe not impressed with what I was saying about Vikings. Hope Toka. Hey, good to see you indeed. Derek Armstrong. Good to have you along here. I will continue with the show. Marines are crazy. So there's that. I see. Something about Marines will allow a crazy person in. Well, have you seen Full Metal Jacket? Were they Marines though? Maybe they weren't, but yes, there was this idea that they make them into that. I gave a lot of Netflix reviews on stuff that I've been watching. Mulberry Pie, I really want to do the DNA thing. You're mixed race and not even sure it will show up. So I'm kind of interested in this as well. I mean, I'm technically mixed race. My mum is Australian and my dad is from New Zealand. It shows both the chain going all the way up your dad's line, which comes from your Y chromosome. If you're a dude, you don't get that if you're a girl because you don't have the daddy chromosome. And if you're a man or woman, you get the mitochondrial, the matrilineal line, the mums. So of course, you know, exponentially as you go up, you're getting a really, really small part of your history, but at the same time you do get a picture along those two lines of all, and anything can happen on either of those lines, and it is kind of interesting. You can put together the genetic history of where those people are from, basically, at least based on but it's also through this whole idea of genetic geology and so on that we've been able to actually paint a picture of how we know now how long people were in Africa and what routes they came out of Africa. It's super interesting. So yes, I'm into that as well. Full Metal Jacket was Marines. Well, there you go. That shows. My dad, by the way, was yes, he was in the army. He was infantry, but before that he was in Special Air Service, which New Zealand has a regiment of. And I think they were trained to be crazy as well. He was pretty calm at home, but he had his moments. Fortunately, no Full Metal Jacket scenario. Asians. Well, anyway, coming back, Netflix. I watched a lot of Netflix lately. I've started watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine just because I saw the big news fuss about it being taken off and everyone being upset. So I started watching it. It's very, very light. I actually quite like Reno 911. Maybe, I'm trying to think, is it as good as that? But it's fun to watch. It's quite good. I very much enjoyed watching Westworld. I realized that was available for free, was included with Amazon Prime, so I have Amazon Prime, so I watched that on Amazon in Japan, and I liked that very much. That was the best thing I've seen in a long time. I haven't seen the original 1973 movie, but Westworld, the series, was really, really awesome, and now I can't wait to watch season 2, which I understand is available, but only in America at the moment. So that was pretty good. But yes, I did basically like 60 or 70 Netflix one-line reviews and 5 ratings out of 5 stars on Twitter, and someone got upset with me about that, so suddenly I had this dilemma that I wanted to say sorry to them, but they were complaining that I'd done so. They said, if you do one more tweet, I'm going to unsubscribe you. And I wanted to say sorry, but I wasn't sure, because that sorry tweet just might be the straw that broke the back of the person. But I figured best to be polite, so I said I'm apologizing for the tweets. Apologizing with a tweet, I realize, adds to the tweets, exacerbating the problem. So I'm trying to apologize for. So sorry for all the tweets and this apology tweet that I know is adding to all the other tweets. Fortunately, they didn't unfollow me, although I'm sure they were sorely tempted. Anyway, yes, all's well that ends well. But yes, very much enjoyed watching Westworld. Yes, very, very good. So this, I started playing in Japan right now. The biggest app is the Japan, it's actually a Chinese made app. It's it's the Chinese version of PUBG or Fortnite. The problem with Fortnite is that, of course, it sucks on mobile phones, and they use American servers, which are just shite in Japan. You can't use them. It's laggy, it crashes, and PUBG isn't available on mobile, and I'm basically on mobile, and everyone in Japan is on mobile. Nobody here has PCs. So this Chinese company did a rip-off of PUBG, and it's awesome. It's so good, and I've been totally addicted to it. Screen cap that. You can add me on the game if you'd ever like to get into a team of up to 5 people, or just 2 people, or 3 people, or whatever, and you want to go and shoot other people. It's just a battle royale, 100 people, last to survive wins, and I've been kind of enjoying it. You can speak to them on the mic. I'm actually tempted to set it up on Twitch and just play a little bit. I'm pretty good at basically, because I'm old, I don't like to go straight into the dangerous places like a lot of people do, and just from that alone I tend to survive more than 50 people, and then it's pretty much just going through like the Marines. Exactly. You psychic tonight, you guys are picking the topics, so it's kind of funny. Now I walk around on the train, I see everyone is playing this app, but it's all Japanese people. It's partly because there's a Japanese server, yeah, you can see, look at that. Out of 100, my top 10 rate is 36%, which is pretty good. And this is it's probably improved since I took the screen cap that I shared on Twitter. I wonder what that is now. But anyway, I shared this because there is my ID. Jot it down. Download the app. It's on Android and iOS. It's mobile only, and it's super fun. Yes, playing shooters on mobile, heresy. Well, you've misspelled heresy, but that's okay. Yes, it's fun. Seriously, you put in headphones, you can talk to people. It's awesome. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun with this, and if you would ever like to join me for a game that's exactly like PUBG, but it's actually extremely well made. I mean, that's what really impresses me. And it impresses me that a Chinese-made app, one, came out this well polished. I mean, it actually, at least for Japan, playing it in Japan, it's better than Fortnite. Plus, heaps of people in Japan play it, so and sometimes people aren't very interactive, but sometimes you get people talking on it. So yeah, this is kind of cool, and seriously, I'm having a lot of fun with it. So add me if you see this and you have a mobile phone and you like to bear in mind as well, in Japan people sit on trains that have 4G cell reception, so we're bored and we have good cell phone reception, so it makes sense that we do this sort of thing. Does it have friendly fire? No, although I remember just once there were some people on my team who were annoying me, and we were all in a car, and I figured out that I could blow up the car. I was so lucky I wasn't blocked for that or reported, but yes, I tried it once. I was just curious if you could do it, so I started shooting the car that I was in. I was able to explode the car, so you could do that, but you can't shoot your own teammates, it turns out. Mulberry Pie, perhaps that's true. Yeah, and they copy, but they copy well. Well, that's exactly what this app is. I mean, seriously, it's smooth, it's solid. It's like Fortnite overheats my phone, it crashes. This is like stable. It chews up the battery, but it's stable all the way through. It's really, really awesome. It's called Knives Out. Boom, you can see it down there. Knives Out. It is the #1 most popular game in Japan right now, and I'm on it as well. I was actually coaching kids for rugby today, and we're going home on the train, and I realized on the train they all had the app. I suddenly realized, well, I'm the coach, but like, would it be weird if like I suggested we team up and shoot some other people? Fortunately, for the sake of the kids, I had my Norikai, I had my switch of trains before we could figure out how to exchange IDs properly, which is probably intentional, but it's actually pretty cool. And yes, Foghart, get in this if you've got an iPhone. It's really fun. Let me know your idea if you do it, because I've been quite enjoying it. It's not about shooting people, it's about not getting shot and being there at the end. Anyway, it's really, really cool. So yes, another way we can interact, and I'm tempted. I was thinking tonight, I was sort of looking around thinking, should I set this up on Twitch just to show it off? Why don't I take a seat over there, Hiko? I don't understand what you mean by over there, but I will continue. Yes. Patreon. We've been talking about Patreon lately. I'm considering using it. Certainly, this is amazing. What's his name? Conte, the such and such Conte. He makes awesome music videos. I like his music. He got like these machines on Ableton machines, like making music, just awesome stuff. But he also is the guy who, I have his name in here. Is it Nick Conte? Jack Conte. Awesome guy, and they've paid out $350 million to subscribers, to creators. Not just YouTubers, of course, but that's one of the major constituencies. I don't know how much YouTube's paid off, but that's a pretty impressive number of payouts, and it's basically based on money that they're putting through, and they get a cut of that. I think they get 10% or something. So it's a good deal for them, but at the same time, I mean, it's a great tool that's well trusted, and I must admit I'm looking at it closely for my Chan stuff. This is kind of cool. Oh, so this is the app that I was talking about that is a lot like my app, but my app is better, so I don't mind showing it to you. This is another thing that's called, oh, in fact, wait a minute, that's a different thing. Fall into a rabbit hole, this site will offer you a helping hand. That's the Google guy. Okay, so they're building something to tell YouTubers to stop watching so much. If you're watching too much, which is kind of stupid, that's not. I was thinking of something else, which is still coming. It's another app, but anyway, Foghart. Hey everyone else, Eniko-sama, just checking out, just checking in before your Dungeons and Dragons session. Well, enjoy your D&D. Don't let me keep you. Hey Sebastian, good to see you. Long time no see, man. Yes, good to see you, and thank you for checking in. And yes, by the way, Foghart, post some tunes. Maybe I've got to log in, but I haven't seen for a while. But keep making music is what he makes. Awesome music, real pro. I thought this was kind of good as someone who has both. Well, yeah, I've both received and given Japanese job interviews. I haven't actually done a group interview like they're described here ever, but I've given them, I've participated in them, and the advice is pretty solid. So this is Gaijin Pot, Liam Carrigan, giving advice for, I guess for foreigners who are in Japan, possibly looking for jobs in Japanese companies and going into Japanese job interviews. The advice that's given here is really, it's a little bit of context, it's a little bit Japan specific, but it really is a lot of common sense as well. Just high level, worth reading again. Gaijin Pot blog. It's something you should follow. 1, speak naturally and not from a script. Well, obviously, but again, it's tempting when you're being interviewed in a foreign language to script things out. I have given interviews where people have written down everything that they're saying. I've interviewed Chinese people who I've interviewed in Japanese, And I understand when you're not in your native language that you want to write everything down, but they were actually talking over me to continue reading their script, and even when I asked them a question to try to get them off the script, they would continue ignoring me and reading the script, which made you question what they're there for. But I'm sure if I reacted that way and by the way, yes, I interview people in Japanese, including Chinese people, or I have interviewed Chinese people. In fact, when I interview people, I also have to interview and check their Japanese out, which I know can be awkward if you're not used to it, but if you live here for a long time, like I don't feel awkward switching, but I realize it's tough for other people. Yes, they ignore me. I found it kind of funny as well, Mr. Kordychev, but then of course they didn't get the job, so it was kind of wasting both of our times, which was sad. Speak naturally, just do that. But when we say speak naturally, there are some more guidelines on that below, including don't talk like this, don't talk like just non-stop, keep it tight, talk for like 10 seconds and do that as well. But yes, forget about one-on-one interviews. Well, my experience isn't consistent with this, but they talk about where, I suppose, apparently English schools will often do 5-person interviews with important people in the middle that lead, and they give the tip of, make sure you're paying attention to everybody, you include them, make eye contact, you talk to it, you engage each person. Each person will take a turn talking to you, and each person's going to make their decision largely. Their own question is going to be very important for each one of their decisions, so that's probably true. So get ready for the idea of sitting in front of a panel of 5 people. That's true. I've done that. I don't like that method of interviewing, but it's very common in Japan. This is a really, really important one. Speak within your vocabulary range. And then there's an important thing here with this. There's a temptation to show how well you speak when you're speaking in a foreign language, when you're speaking Japanese, to try to say the most difficult things you can say in order to impress. But the fact is, remember, you're not going to impress a Japanese person with extremely technical Japanese per se. You are going to unimpress them when you screw up speaking technical Japanese because you reach too far, or that you just don't sound natural. But they're never going to be impressed. It's like, would you be impressed at someone speaking English? Like, no, you expect them to speak English if we're speaking English like this. And the fact that someone speaks it well just confirms to you that, oh, they're normal. Whereas, if they're not, it's very important to speak at a natural level and keep your range of expression in a range that you're comfortable, because again, what happens when people overreach sometimes, or when they get stuck, is that either they won't make sense, or they use the technical terms incorrectly, or they will get stuck and excited and they'll start throwing in little phrases like they'll start waffling, and this is something that I've also seen. You'll start trying to fluff out while you're trying to think of a really cool thing to say, or the right word or whatever. You'll sound terrible basically, and it will make it look like you can, oh no, they're coming for me, let me go. Okay, I think I'm okay. But yeah, when you're sitting there trying to say something cool, you are sounding crap and you are looking crap, and it doesn't work, and you'll start saying sugoi sugoi, and もう本当になんとかね、それすごく重要, like I've sat through that and it's painful. And again, you don't have to, just keep it simple. Seriously, don't give them your life story. This is when sometimes they offer up, hey, would you like me to walk you through my CV? And I'd say sure, just do it very quickly. And that can go for 20 minutes sometimes, and it can be hard to stop them from doing it. It's tempting. Again, I like to share as well. I have a very interesting life story I'd love to tell you guys, but keep it really tight. And when they ask questions, they again keep the answers tight as well. That's really important. They're on a schedule, they've got a list of questions. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification. Again, this is also common sense with life. Now that I've gone from being the awkward underling to the awkward manager, certainly nothing worse. Yes, being verbose, certainly. There's certainly nothing worse than seeing someone who is afraid of appearing, they're so afraid of appearing like they don't get it, that they decide to try to stumble forward, hoping that they've got it right, stumbling forward in the wrong direction. And again, and I can tell you, I sit there thinking, just ask me, seriously, I will happily steer you in the right direction. I want you to give me a good answer, because you're not giving me a good answer, it means we're both wasting our times. But yet people are so afraid that the test involves not asking for the answer, or not asking for help. And no, all I want to do is get the correct answer. They just want you to answer the question that I'm asking. So yes, indeed, don't be afraid to ask for clarification. This is very good advice. So these are good tips. and there's some Japan specific stuff. Gaijin blog is very, very good. I mean, there was a time Gaijin blog was horrible, but it's really turned around recently. You should subscribe to it and follow it, and that's a very good article there. Fat Burger. Do you guys know Fat Burger? It's just opened up. The name is, of course, very attractive. Apparently, America has a 1.5 pound king burger that looks like that. That apparently, they call it the king burger because after you've eaten it, you're forced to go home and sit on your throne for like hours afterwards. I don't know. That's something that I heard on Twitter. I'm tempted to try it. Is it good? I mean, Shake Shack was okay, but they're like $15 burgers, so I'm not sure that they're like $15 okay. I mean, seriously, like if you want a proper grilled meat, good tasting burger, Burger King does it for me. I mean, and it takes a lot of these places that are coming in, they're charging for gourmet burgers when they're not quite delivering, but I'm not sure where does Fat Burger go through this. I Exist in California says heart attack waiting to happen. If people know what this is, tell me if I should try it. I guess I will try it, but I don't know if it'll be how good it is or whether it's worthwhile them coming into Japan. This is good. Well, right now the largest group of tourists coming into Japan are Chinese people, and they apparently, of course, China is, don't forget, it's 1 billion people, and it's actually bigger than Europe, and it's got like 4 times more people than Europe, 3 times more people than America. And it's extremely diverse, geographically, culturally, history. It's been inhabited. It's been a country for 5,000 or 6,000 years. It's interesting. They took the survey, but they were also paying attention to the different regions that the Chinese were coming from and what they enjoyed. So Guangdong residents go to Japan for food. So this is kind of cool. You've got these 4 cities: Guangzhou, Beijing, Shanghai, and in terms of reasons for visiting Japan, pretty consistently, 3/4 of them came for sightseeing. In terms of food, Guangzhou, like half of them, a little bit less in the case of Shanghai and Beijing, not so interested. I guess Beijing, they think they've already got good enough food. Shopping, about the same, about 40% for everybody. In fact, less for Guangzhou. There you go down the bottom, but it's the same for everybody there. Natural scenery, Guangzhou less interested than the big city slickers, I suppose, in Shanghai and Beijing. And culture, again, Guangzhou, they just want food. Just feed them. It seems pretty simple. 30% for Shanghai and Beijing. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I suppose if you break it down, I guess if you were to look at Westerners, like the people that are in the comments on this, Americans, Canadians, Australians, English speakers, I don't know how many people really come here for shopping. Obviously, it's a big deal for Asians and so on. I suppose there are specific things, like, people who are into anime or whatever might come for specific anime-related shopping things or whatever, but real sort of, going to a department store kind of a thing, I guess you get that, but and come think of it, I do have friends who come over here to shop. They like their clothes, but of course, if they fit. Japan's also probably not considered so much of a nature destination as it is from other Asian tourists, but it really is. It's got amazing natural beauty, which I think is less appreciated. I think there was a map. I remember seeing a heat map of where tourists coming to Japan travel around. And so it was true that English speakers are among the most limited travelers within Japan. They stay to the cities and the big places. Chinese are actually much better at getting out and about around the smaller places, which is much to their credit. They've probably got in many ways a better sense of the things that you can and should do. By the way, Natalie Pate, you've had a Fat Burger. It wasn't memorable. Trendy place, you think. Okay, well, that's good information. Thank you, Natalie. And thank you for joining the show. Let's continue. That's Chinese people. Totally, I think the next few things are just tech stuff. There hasn't been a lot of news lately. I'm found the right sort of Google Watch that I want lately, but if Google's going to make like a Pixel, like a demonstration smartwatch, I'll be very curious to look at that. We'll see when don't know when it comes out, but I would like to check that out. So yes, that's kind of cool. Cloud, I remember Cloud. I used to be quite good at that as well. Hey, it's like Mansion, bonjour, mon ami, I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Good to see you. Cloud, so that was kind of cool for a time. For me, I mean, of course, I realized people immediately saw it as being an attempt to introduce a class system into Twitter when Twitter became very big about 5 or 6 years ago, and having this kind of score based on not just the number of followers but engagement and so on Twitter. And between my social media things, I guess it was good, and there were things like hotel discounts and so on. Hey, I'm a big social media influencer, give me a discount. I guess it got too much down that sort of a thing about promoting this kind of elite snobby kind of, you know, social media culture, and it encouraged a lot of people to, you know, cheat and have, you know, offshore people like, you know, following them, buying followers and all that sort of stuff. But that said, I like it just for the gamification aspect. It's something I really miss from YouTube. The idea, it used to be very motivating to be able to see your channel ranking and so on. And you know, I know I was for a time within the top 50 channels in Japan, just because there weren't many channels in Japan, but it was very motivating to see that. And it was kind of funny when the right-wing Sakura channel, like month by month, I was like neck and neck with them, and I really wanted to just drop and be either surge ahead or be behind. I didn't want to be side by side where they would notice me. So yeah, a cloud was kind of cool like that. I mean, it's kind of motivating, and I do like the idea of gamification of just stuff like this, of social media. However, somewhere along the line it kind of went off the radar, and apparently it did die the other day. So RIP cloud, what can we say? You know what? This 6 facts about healthcare in Japan, I think this was from the last show. I think I talked about this, but I know I added more than this, so somehow that got shuffled around, so I'm just going to skip that. But you know what, this is it. Okay, this is the last show I've got for tonight, so I've got some time to make some music. I think we're 10 minutes early. Again, not Japan related, but they're talking about with the Tokyo Olympics and the risk of waves. In fact, this article from Deadspin does talk about the risk of there not being waves when they have Olympic surfing for the first time at the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. Two things here. First of all, wave pool surfing itself. Kelly Slater made this like awesome huge pool in California. It's like 100 miles inland. They had the first ever pro surfing competition there, and apparently, you know, I mean, there are wave pools around, and I've surfed and bodyboarded on wave pools. They are okay, but this is a serious wave pool. I mean, it's made by Kelly Slater, and it gets real decent waves and regular waves. And the people who are doing it were talking about how, because you get stable, predictable big waves, you can actually go from being out there hunting down that elusive good wave, which is really a big part of what surfing is about, to actually being able to plan out your rides and maximize the tricks. And you know, it can make for a good viewing spectacle. And honestly, for someone like me, like just for the idea of being able to practice, I enjoy going to the beach and surfing. But if there was like an awesome big wave pool like this, I would be straight in it. And I'm hoping that there will be more pools made on the same model, including in Japan. And there were some people suggesting Japan should make this as a backup in case there aren't waves when the Olympics are on. On that, some people are bad-mouthing Chiba a little bit here. Chiba's got really good waves. I mean, the beaches aren't that nice. It's kind of, the sound's a little bit more like dirt, but they're big, they're long, they're straight beaches with the rolling surf that comes in basically straight from Hawaii, uninterrupted. They're pretty steady shoulder to head height surf. I mean, it goes up and down, and depending on the wind and the day, yeah, you might want to move up or down some beaches. So if you fix a location, you could take a bit of a roll of the dice, but it's pretty good and pretty consistent. I don't think I've ever been to Chiba on a day where there weren't surfable waves. I've been down to Shonan, 45 minutes south of Tokyo, and had totally flat and not been able to do anything. But going out to Chiba, which is about 1.5 hours east of Tokyo, yeah, you can always surf out there. So some people are sort of a little bit overly concerned. The fact that it's going to be in summer is going to suck, because the water gets softer in summer. It's not as good, but and the waves tend to be kind of dumpers. There are some good spots there, but wave pools, I'm totally into the idea of there being more wave pools like this. So yeah, big, long and straight, Hiko. That's damn straight, damn straight. So yes, I would like to definitely try Kelly Slater's wave pool. You know what, we have time, so okay, I've got two options here. I can either show you, although you know what, I don't think I have it set up to be able to show you properly. I could show you Knives Out, or I could make some music. What would you like? Vote now. I will take the first 10 votes as determinative. Would you like to watch me play Knives Out and let me show you what the game is? Or would you like me to get the music hooked up? So I'm waiting for the mission to Mars at the moment. Coin flip. I have no coins. Flip coins for me. Someone flip coins for me. Or ask me questions. You can ask me anything. I'll talk about anything that you got. But you have me for 7 minutes. Music for the win. Music. That's 2 for music. Music. looks like we're going pretty strong for music at the moment. We got 3 votes for music, and the rest is silence. Maybe I was being a little optimistic asking for 10 votes. It looks like we've got a pretty strong 4. I'll take 1 more vote for music and we are there. Any more Rochelle videos? Oh, Steve from Berkeley, yes, yes, the videos are there. I haven't edited them, but they are there. She is coming back, by the way, so yes, hopefully I'll be able to record something with her as well, but I will put it straight up rather than have something it requires to edit. So Mr. Cordy Chap, okay, we're definitely doing music now. Wait, I'll be right back. I'm just going to get the iPad and it's over there. Hang on a sec. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, let's plug this puppy in. Pick a genre. What type of music would you like? Hip hop, reggae, house, drum and bass. I will accept any of those categories. Boom. What would you like? Electro, funk. You can pick a style. Pick a. Oh, camera is pointed over there for some reason. Pick a musical style that you would like me to emulate. Earphone. I guess I'm gonna pick this one out. Hip hop. Tim the Asian Ink says hip hop. Lo-fi hip hop. I like the sound of that. Let's do some lo-fi hip hop. It sounds good. So for hip hop, I will take these off and I will put this on. For boxing, I really like a 90 BPM hip hop. This camera's kind of distorted. I just realized it's like it's crammed in. I look thinner. That's nice. Okay, but anyway, so let's do a new one. Yes, I am sure. So let's go for 88 BPM. Let's make the key. Let's go a little bit random, but I'd say for lo-fi. I like lo-fi hip hop. We're gonna do that. Let's make this Arabian key. Oh, it sounds a little bit weird, but that'll be okay. Let us. Do we have any 88 BPM? I could just go regular beat, but let's see if there's anything in the program beats. This is pretty close on 86. It should work. Let's see what it sounds like. I just realized you don't hear this. Let me turn on the sound. There we go. Let's do that. Okay, lo-fi. Some bass first. Let's do some square bass. Be a bit electro-y. That's as kind of good as it is. That's not good. It's kind of cool. Okay, let's add some melody. It's quite cool. Try the different melody. Try something better for that. We can do better. We can do better. No. What we need is, let's try. Let's try this. Okay. I'm gonna roll it out soon, but let's just try to get a melody on this. That's where I should have started. Let's roll it back to the one, see what we can do. Yeah, I'll make this into a track later. It's kind of cool. Which beat is that, Ty? Can you remember? No, I don't like that part. Okay. That's the end of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for coming along. See you next week. And Mulberry probably look back at the video and see which one was the right one that I should be picking. Have a good week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the show. Keep cool till after school. Look out, more updates coming on my channel very soon, including one that I have to go and check right now that you can like videos. That's awesome. Have a good week, everybody, and see you again soon. See you, Steve from Berkeley. See you, Mulberry Pie. Good to have everybody with you. Have a very good week. Ka kite anō, and peace. Ba-boom. And add me on Knives Out because it's a cool app, and I'm enjoying playing it. And it'd be cool to play with you guys. And peace. Ty, I was talking about the big wave pool of Kelly Slater in California that they just had the pro surfing competition for. Go check it out. It's really, really cool. And to let it, peace. It's a nice outro. Kind of like that. That's very minimal, but it's kind of sweet.